So in Thunder Road, the feature, we knew the Thunder Road short for one take. You do a lot of long takes in that feature. That was kind of the style of the aesthetic. In Wolf of Snow Hollow, there's like this great montage moment, which I'm gonna pull up, and I'll bring the volume down. You can kind of talk over it, but let me play the beginning with sound.
Try it. What? Oh.
That's me. Realizing. The music. So this is this one long shot of me at the second crime scene trying to juggle 1,000 balls in the air, and everybody's being incompetent. Nobody knows what they're talking about, and I'm the only guy who gets it. And it's just,
was this a metaphor for directing? Was any of this?
It can be like this, but it's just a lot of fun to be able to do that. Like all of our short films that Natalie and I did are just like crowds of people and then somebody having to put up with all of this stupidity, and watching somebody spin a bunch of plates at one time and how interesting that can be. So this one is the one long take in the film, really. And then the rest of this montage is told through conventional editing. And that was kind of a fusion of my previous filmmaking and then basically ripping off David Fincher. So it was like, to be able to do Zodiac as a comedy, you kind of have to do both at the same time, of like having the detective pornography that is this kind of stuff and the montage, while also it being this slapstick comedy. And it was unique when we were doing it in like podcast form. It feels a bit like Fargo, kind of the same kind of thing as Fargo. But then the kind of crazy impressive Steadicam 360 stuff was just so much fun to do. And it's funny, you get to this point in the movie, I was watching and I was like, oh, this is where my filmmaking comes in. This is like, okay, cool. This is where audiences can watch it and go like, okay, we've seen Thunder Road. We've seen this guy do this before.
Let's listen to the words of the law.
So was that kind of the pitch, Zodiac as a comedy?
yeah. Thunder Road with a werewolf, or Zodiac as a comedy.
I love you that you set that up. We don't know what it is yet. We're like, what's in there?
Yeah, that's right.
So when you're doing this as a podcast, how are you describing like a montage?
I never use, we put in music. I think I used Provokiev for this one, the big like dance of the Montagues and the Capulet song. And then it's just me doing it out loud. And then instead of saying interior funeral home, I say, the father of the victim approaches Jim in the funeral home. And then I start acting it out in a voice. So it's like, it's kind of all over the place, but you get it when the music comes in. You just kind of listen and it carries you along like a radio play.
This last part of it was when I was like, oh, this is about directing. You signed something and then rapping out.
One of my favorite things in that, it's terrible. Here, go back a little bit. But Dave, the EMT, is in the background. He should have been a little bit more apparent, but he's the guy who I get to check out my dad. Like he's the guy. And so in that moment where I look back at him, I'm realizing, oh, I should get Dave to check out my dad's heart. And it's like all of this stuff going on. So like, look at me here. And I'm looking back.
Oh, I love that. You're setting up the payoffs later. Yeah.
And then and then I go, I can't do this shit. It's like these, So all of this pressure cooker stuff is tied into the cinematography as well. So like we're focusing on John the whole scene, and then he's a complete asshole to Julia. He says, do you want to have a relationship with me? She says yes. And then we hold on her and move around to reveal her stuck in between these two masculine jerkwads. And then she's kind of tasked with having to be the good representative of the sheriff's department. So like using the camera to kind of weave all of that subtly was crucial to us.